pickup, and therefore perhaps Machi will try to focus on just removing some of the top picks for the current meta at the moment.
All right, so no Yuumi in the bot lane. And no Varus. Again, Varus has been making his way back up into the meta over the most recent couple of patches. For those that aren't informed, we are still playing on 10.11. I do believe we turn to 10.12 starting next week. Graves, though, going to be banned away, and I like that from Resurgence. They say, hey, Gemini's looked very clean on this champion. Let's just go ahead and get rid of it.
Yeah, coming from MSS and now seeing a lot of Graves having to win a lot of matches today. It's not a mystery that RSG wants to take that out. For Machi, though, they're removing a lot of the AD carry pool, so I'm guessing it might be one of those things where does RSG want to focus on getting Aphelios? Is Mexi comfortable with it, considering that he has played a lot of games on the Misfortune in spring?
All right, so we're going to get rid of the Azir, too. Another ban away from Mission. Not going to have his kind of go-to pocket pick. For Machi, what are we looking at trying to ban out here in the last one? Do you want to try and get rid of a niche pick like Raven always has, like you mentioned? Don't want to try and go against something that's a little bit too uncommon. And yeah, it looks like that's the case, getting rid of the Kiana. Now, Resurgence with first pick can go for the Aphelios if they wish, or maybe try and pick up a jungle right away.
Yeah, it makes me wonder whether or not Epic would play the Nidalee if it's open. No, Karma first pick. This is interesting because at least you get that really strong flex pick. Has been almost 100% banned at second rotation. So for RSG, I think this is a really interesting pickup for themselves.
All right, so we'll see whether or not that's going to go down in support, or if it's going to be Raven actually using that, and maybe we see a little bit of that style where they're going to try and use him more on a utility pickup or support to try and enhance Mexi or Sensekai. But for Machi, Bruce going to fall back onto the Old Faithful. That's, of course, being his Ezreal, as Ezreal himself also considered one of those top-tier pickups at the moment as far as the meta goes.
I really like the deny. It's one of those things where, okay, maybe you can get the Aphelios, maybe we can just deny that Ezreal off of Mexi, just to sort of assume that perhaps this Karma Ezreal duo would be just very terrifying at the bot side of the map. But let's see, another flex pick getting acquired by Machi. We don't know yet where this set is going to fall.
Yeah, of course, it could go in support, could go top, could go jungle. Hell, it can even go mid. Resurgence, though, Aphelios being open, they decide, hey, that's what we're going to go with here, as they go and lock that in for Mexi, trying to go back away from the Misfortune pickup that was usually his answer to whatever the opposing side would go for. Resurgence, oh, I would love it, but I have no doubt it's going to get locked in. The Nocturne, have to see whether or not that's going to go jungle or mid.
Okay, so Nocturne has been picked twice in the spring split. One, I believe, from J Team, from Type A J Team, and another one coming from AHQ. I believe that was top side. So far, it didn't work out so well because the window of opportunity to take advantage of that paranoia window hasn't exactly been executed well or being more aggressively used. So perhaps RSG can break the Nocturne curse and make this work.
All right here, though. Trundle going to get locked in for Gemini, and I almost have to wonder, because the last time, like you mentioned, we saw a Nocturne, I think it was AHQ, and I think that was the least proactive Nocturne I've ever witnessed when it came to pro play. I think it was calling in. He didn't ult for the first 20 minutes of the game.
Yes.
So if Epic is able to do at least an ult before 20 minutes, I'll already be impressed compared to what we previously saw within the PCS. Second round of draft, though. Here we go. Nidalee going to be banned out by Machi. We're going to see the Zoe get banned away here on the side of Resurgence.
Yeah, just taking out that Nidalee, not trying to assume just yet that Nocturne is going to the jungle. So Machi is playing things a little bit more safer. RSG, again, has so much flex picks in their draft so far. LeBlanc, I wonder if they're going to try to ban that out. But then again, it is Mission. He will be focusing more on those heavy, passive farming mid laners for now, as what we've seen so far.
So no Mordekaiser up in that top lane. Actually, that's always been a kind of a go-to pickup there for PK, so that's kind of taking that option away from himself. But again, maybe that set is going to be played up and toward the top lane. We still have to see. Now, looking toward the final ban of Resurgence. Are they just looking to try and lock out Mission? And that looks like to be the case. Also going to get rid of his go-to Corki pickup.
Yeah, a lot of focus ban on towards Mission. We'll have to see what the mid laner of Machi will decide to pick up. For Resurgence, we still have a little bit of mystery what else they're gonna look for, but this
Okay.
Wukong though could go towards PK at top side.
Could go to PK. We also did see Wukong get flexed into support as well, back over in the European LEC. I doubt that's the case this time, but we'll still have to see. We have some options on the side of Machi and gives them some variety with what they want to do with this composition. Let's look back toward Resurgence though, and I'm interested to see what the approach is going to be. Are we also going to get a Shyvana getting locked in? Don't tell me this is the case. It is! Oh boy, okay. I'm very interested now because when we talked to Jensen, he said he wanted to bring a more aggressive, a more proactive play style to Resurgence. And we saw what a Shyvana could do back in the mid-season showdown up against Machi, where they actually couldn't handle Team Flash's Shyvana.
Yeah, this is definitely the VN special where a lot of the junglers would fall back into the Shyvana and catch off the LMS off guard. So now that we see that, it's a Nocturne top and a Shyvana jungle, with Raven being more on that utility side on that Orianna.
And the Wombo combo is pretty clear here. You put down the Paranoia and you put that Nocturne into the middle of the team, lay in on top with a Shockwave. And this is clearly shifting the carry aspect of Resurgence. It's no longer to be Raven in particular. He's going to be more on a support or utility-esque champ with some massive damage being laned in there with the Shockwave, putting a lot more focus onto Sensekai and onto this Nocturne where it's going to go as well as Mexi.
Yeah, early to mid, we're going to take a look at Shinsekai. Wait up.
Is it going to be a top lane Shyvana with Ignite? Are we running this back to, like, what was it, season 4 or 5? This was, like, kind of popular? Is that what they're planning on doing here?
That's how far along it is. I don't really remember.
It's been a while since I've seen Ignite teleport Shyvana top. We were told there was some spiciness possibly coming out from Resurgence, but for them to bring it out in the first game against Machi, I'm hyped to see it.
Yeah, I'm so hyped too, because, with Nocturne in the jungle, it gives you more access to the rest of the lanes so that you can just try to dive in instead of being at top side. And as well as the Karma adds to it, when you activate the Paranoia, at least you have that, group movement speed to try and catch up, and all of the shields as well, adding up to the Orianna. So this is a full-on press that R button, full go towards Machi.
I'm just so interested. When was the last time I said, oh yeah, we have a Wukong Shyvana top lane matchup? I don't even know how that goes at the moment, considering we have the Wukong rework, but I'm liking it. Resurgence, they said, you know what? Spring, nothing ever works. So let's just start anew, bring out some of the cheese, maybe bring out some of the pocket picks, and see how it pans out.
Yeah, and we were talking about how Epic and Raven, but Raven right now stepping a little bit back on towards utility.
So yeah, exactly. Will this work out? Will Raven be able to kind of fill that gap? And again, you par that up with a Karma as well as an Orianna. There's a lot of support onto this Aphelios or this Nocturne or Shyvana. Whoever is able to get ahead, they'll play through. Either way, we're going to go ahead, load on into the Rift for Resurgence's first game up against Machi.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
And banners up here as we enter in our fourth game of the night, our halfway point. Riku, you got to be an audience member, at least for the first couple of games, as we see Bruce and Koala, just taking some poke there to Mexi. Mexi's going to be fine. What anything that really caught your eye in our first 3 games of the day?
Anything that caught my eye, definitely the Nova versus PSG, because considering that PSG and Machi opened up the match, and it was a complete stomp from PSG, and when Nova came in, they finally sort of managed to expose a bit of weakness, which I thought that Nova could have finished. Unfortunately, their mid-game sort of crashed down to Dominoes.
Speaking of early aggression, unfortunately, Resurgence are like, you know what? This is maybe too early of aggression, as now poor Epic is going to be zoned off away from his blue buff, as PK and Gemini are able to get the successful invade, and not the start Resurgence we're looking for.
Yeah, definitely very difficult, considering I don't think Epic is going to be ready for any sort of 1v1s against Gemini, so that is quite unfortunate, and it's not exactly the start that Epic is looking for, especially on Resurgence side, looking to have an air quote smooth sailing early game for themselves, especially once they reach level 6. I think that would be the deadliest point of this composition, see whether or not they can get a few picks here and there on the side lanes.
Well, it's never a great feeling when you have to do your wolves first, but nonetheless, Epic will at least be able to path on over and take his red, but he is being tracked, is already early vision because Bruce was able to poke back Mexi, is forcing him to have to, well, he's going to get tracked throughout the jungle, and that means Epic, his impact on the map early may be nullified quite a bit.
Yeah, gonna be difficult for sure, as they can see and decide whether or Gemini can visit, the mid lane, as Mission has been setting up that poke a little bit against Raven. At least Raven has some sort of heal, a little bit of defensive when it comes to the lane.
Oh, Epic.
Epic though.
Maybe not the place he wanted to go, because unfortunately he's going to get slowed down. In comes the Karma to help provide the shielding, and Epic, unless you're going to make a beeline for that blue buff, I think that was expected, is Gemini already beat him to it.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. And look at Gemini, too, making his way towards Raptors. And because Raven is so poked out in the lane, he can't exactly respond to any sort of aggressive invades that Gemini will be doing in the future. Epic.
He also gets spotted out there by the Scrying Orb. This is just, can we track Epic? Meanwhile, mid lane, Raven might get solo kill if he's not careful. Gets just tagged again by an orb. Can Mission find it? No, it looks like Raven just wants to hold on. He doesn't actually have teleport, so he just doesn't want to lose too much in this lane, but PK also looking for Hunted.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. And Mission is just trying to take advantage of the fact that, just as you mentioned, no teleport. So with that, Raven will take a little while to go back to the lane, and again, another vision, another ward being laid down towards the Raptors. So Epic is constantly getting tracked in the first 3 minutes of the game.
And constantly look at top lane. It's already almost a two-wave advantage for BK. Shinsuke underneath the tower almost wanted to go for the play. Unfortunately, he ended up igniting the clone, and now Gemini's going to come on over. There's a teleport. It's first blood for Machi.
Oh, look at that. Even Mission teleporting just for safety, just in case, maybe Epic will suddenly walk into the lane. But unfortunately, this is not the start that RSG wants, but this is Machi really playing to their, really taking advantage of RSG.
So a bit rough, to say the very least, this start. They kind of wanted to, be that aggressive person, and we're still waiting for that level 6 to come out from Epic, but unfortunately, Epic's been delayed so heavily that he's only going to just do his Gromp, and there's nothing else on the map for him to take. He's still got to wait for all his camps to come out, and meanwhile, Gemini, he still has 4 on his side of the map.
Yeah, no reds, no blues being acquired by Epic. He actually tried to get at least an exchange, but Gemini having to keep track of Epic most of the time, they're one step ahead. And with Mission also carrying Comet, this is such a tough point for Raven, constantly getting poked. And with that said, Raven is forced to pop early biscuits for now, as Machi is actually getting that dragon.
And there you go. Machi are going to be able to pick up dragon. Nothing really exchanged here. Epic does at least finish off his jungle component. But Gemini is still just going to go ahead, farm away. A bit of a rough one here, as you want to try and, in most cases with the Nocturne and competitive, you want to try and power farm immediately toward that level 6 to try and make an impact, but the fact now that he's been slowed down a little bit kind of, loses that surprise factor. It looks like Shinsuke, though, has been able to slightly recover in the CS game after getting taken down early, so it's not end times yet for Resurgence, but it's still almost 1,000 gold lead before 6 minutes.
Yeah, and without the Ignite, at least that's less pressure for PK at top side, and especially you have to wait for level 6 before everything falls into place when that Paranoia visits towards PK at top side. And Raven, again, is constantly getting poked out here in the mid lane, so the CS difference is slowly building towards in favor of Mission, and this is definitely going to be tough because that's the second time that Raven had to go back.
Yeah, once again, Raven having to go back without teleport. That now expands this CS advantage to over 20, and they're also going to crash a wave. That also gives them priority toward the top side of the map if they wish to, and Epic is just going to get zoned away from his blue buff if he tries to take this.
Shinsekai, level 6, Epic still level 4, one level below.
Shinsekai can't even roam over because PK's been able to push in the tower. Mission is also going to be the one to try and steal it away, but no, they knew that Epic was nearby, so they has to just watch his camp be taken once again, denying it away from Epic.
Very tough. Not sure. I believe if ever, perhaps, Epic can make his way towards red buff. I feel like that is the only one buff at the moment. There's a Kondo.
Oh, over the wall. Shinsekai maybe looking to hunt down PK. PK does have his ultimate available. He's just bringing Shinsekai on over to Gemini. He's going to now realize this, ends up popping the Ignite. Going to use his ultimate as way to get back to safety as PK ends up popping his ultimate, the second activation. Shinsekai, though, not slowing down. Able to get a nice, decent amount of poke. That should force PK to at least have to back off.
That would have been perfect if Gemini wasn't around. But unfortunately, Gemini still making his way, clearing his camps at top side now. You know, peace and quiet, air quote, for Epic. He has room to get this red buff without having to worry about Gemini getting his camp once more. But at the same time, though, this is actually a little bit sort of predicted because knowing the fact that Epic is probably going to make his way on the red side, this means Gemini has full control over the top.
Yeah, you can even see he wants to try and bring that out towards PK, and for Machi, they kind of have an option. All right, who do we want to unlock? Do we want to unlock this Wukong and try and force Shinsekai to have to play a little bit further back without, you know, vision on the top side of the map? Or do we want to try and get Mission very far ahead in this mid lane? He's already up that 20 CS, and Gemini already making a beeline toward that Raven.
Raven does have complete summoner spells, so if ever Gemini and Mission decide to be a little bit more aggressive at that part, then it is going to be most likely not a death. For now, though, it is that level 6 mark already for Epic, so which lane will he decide to visit? Which one is the most vulnerable that they can actually get a kill?
You know, the one place actually that, you know, Resurgence have been able to at least find a slight advantage has at least been this bot lane, as Mexi does have a slight CS advantage over Bruce. But unfortunately, it's an Ezreal and Seth. There's a decent amount of disengage, and if anything, they've been playing pretty far back, knowing that, hey, Epic might have level 6 now, so we don't want to give on over any gold, and we could just scale up.
Yeah, actually, if we look at it, I am expecting Epic to make a visit at topside, considering that PK is a little bit extended and there is enough damage for them to try and finish off the kill, try to stick to the target too. But for now, they'll get spotted. They're going to take off that ward as Gemini is having his presence felt by the dragon.
25 seconds for Machi if they want to try and get that off spawn. Koala might get caught out. Mexi is actually going to run immediately into the side of Gemini, and the pillar goes down. That forces out the actual...
Mexi!
Oh, Bruce! Able to line up the true shot barrage, and in goes Koala. Very aggressive. I think he just wants to sacrifice his squad, as now Epic pulls the trigger, wants to jump in on top of Mission, gets himself again the fear, and there you go. Epic on the board. 2 kills for Resurgence.
All right, I think 2 kills for 2 kills, or rather 1 kill over for Machi. They managed to eliminate Mexi there as he has been separated from the squad, but I think that's pretty worth. You have breathing room for Raven now. You also deny the fact that there was a potential for Machi to force a dragon after getting the AD carry. But let's take a look at this again. It all started where they're all separated. Machi had 2 targets in mind, and they've managed to do mission accomplished, eliminated Mexi, but at the same time, Koala just wanted to sacrifice his life. But as you can see, you know, Mission just moved forward a little bit and just wanted to get probably a stun for some reason.
Oh, you know, fishing for maybe a play there. Machi, though, still have control over the Dragon Pit. They'll be able to pick up the Infernal and start cycling now toward the Ocean Soul that's going to be on the Rift for the matchup between them and Resurgence. It's still about an 1,100 gold lead in favor of Machi, just from the CS advantage, mainly in mid lane.
Right now, they're making their way towards first brick, first tower take, which will... Actually, they scared them off pretty well for Resurgence.
seeing there. Looks like OB was kind of thinking, oh, is there going to be a teleport for Shensekai? But unfortunately, there's just no wards in behind Machi at this point. We did see also Raven was looking to roam down. Epic also going to have Paranoia online here quite shortly. They did use Shelly in bot lane to try and force back Resurgence, and it looks like Bruce will be able to secure this, trying to deny what he can, apply some more pressure. That would be, of course, the first tower of the game going in favor of Machi and opening up a little bit of a goal advantage, especially on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, and because of that huge poke and the True Shot Barrage hitting Mexi, they're forced to back away and give up this tower and get that reset. For now, though, just as we mentioned, not a lot of objectives to take, but for RSG, definitely want to get a few kills and take advantage already of how much damage they have on their Eternal. But for now, though, Koala making his rounds in mid lane.
Interesting, too. You can see, ooh, very close. 25 health on that tower. Minion almost take it. It's perfect. It's set up for a gust of wind to blow by. They'll be able to take it themselves. Interesting. I kind of wanted to take a look over here. We're starting to see first item builds, and Shensekai has himself a mixed bag, to say the very least here. He's got, you know, the Warfields in there. He's got blue boots. He's got a Randall vest. He's got the cooldown reduction. But still going to be a little bit before we get to see exactly what he's built up, as PK's already rushed his Triforce already.
Yeah, that's a really, really good pickup for PK, and definitely going to be annoying when it comes to perhaps later on when we do the Dragon Dances, or perhaps the Rift Herald Dances when RSG decides to try and contest that one. Bruce, though, will be able to take this tower smoothly, as already having his Manamune. In the meantime, though, Resurgence making their way at topside, hoping to probably get a dive if possible.
Well, Gemini gets spotted out there. Control ward comes out from Epic, so it doesn't look like they'll be able to do much. Also, can be a bit risky to try and dive a Wukong, considering now he has 2 activates of his ultimate, so a decent amount of delay. But you see Mexi and Kasuo want to really push that in.
Yeah, Machi already making their way at topside, so this actually scares RSG to just not pursue the intended plan, and just as you mentioned, it is definitely very difficult to try and dive a Wukong with so much CC on hand. And Raven, have to be careful here.
Oh, Raven gets caught out there by the pillar. He will get himself back to safety. Mexi ends up popping his ultimate. Raven wants to pull that shockwave and finds it on 2. And with the damage, they take down Gemini. In comes Paranoia on top of the Sif, but they can't finish him off as Mission is able to find the kill. Shensekai needs to find his target, gets on top of the Wukong. Mission, though, should be able to kite on back, waiting for the Scatter of the Week to actually come on through. And it won't be enough damage from the Shyvana, as it's going to be a trade 1-for-1. Both junglers get taken down.
Beautiful set. That Moonlight Vigil towards a Shockwave was just beautiful to watch, and I'm pretty sure Machi didn't really expect that, and the timing is perfect too, because they have room to take down this Rift Herald, and Machi in the meantime will try as he can distract as Koala is lurking around the shadows.
See, Koala does have the Showstopper available. True Shot Barrage comes on through, ends up popping it immediately onto the support. In comes the shield, and in comes the damage. Shensekai can't escape, and he'll get taken on down. Mission finds himself another kill. And on top of that, Machi just walk on in, say thank you very much. That's our Rift Herald.
Yeah, thank you for the leash. That was a smite done by Gemini, and unfortunately, not very sure what happened if Epic had his smite available or he has used it earlier already. In the fight, rather. But yeah, that is quite unfortunate. I think that was well played by Koala there, entering at the right time.
So over the wall there. You do see Machi were the ones that felt a bit confident, but a nice turnaround here, and I like the idea from Resurgence knowing they have the go button available.
Yeah, and again, they have so many options to stick to a target with the movement speed, with the dissonance, with the shields from the Karma. So it is definitely very hard to run away, considering, you know, you've got Mission just trying to manually walk away from RSG. And with that said, it could have gone much worse for Machi, but for RSG, though, they thought that they've managed to have a lot of time to take down this Rift Herald. But for Machi, and for Koala most especially, they've managed to distract RSG.
Sealed out. Still seeing the replay again. This was again the fight afterwards, and it starts off with that showstopper from Koala, and Unfortunately, for the side of Resurgence, death timers are a little bit too late. Meanwhile, though, there was a fight taking place around the Dragon, and it is Machi securing their 3rd Dragon of the game. Paranoia was used, but was not pulled. Epic actually flashed during that fight, so the long replay ends up masking the ensuing fight, but no one goes down, only the Dragon in favor of Machi.
I think Shinsekai was the almost casualty there as when it switched over here, it was Shinsekai with a little bit of half HP already. But yeah, Machi with 3 dragons now, pressure is gonna start building for RSG, having to be forced to try and deny a dragon, or perhaps before the dragon spawns, maybe try to pull the trigger, get a pick or 2, and be more comfortable and deny that dragon away from Machi later on.
So now you take a look back toward that goal total. Even though the kills, it's only 1 more in favor of Machi and the first brick gold. Just the advantages coming out from the CS differences in the bot, the mid, the jungle as well has netted them about that 3,000 gold lead, and PK will start pushing. Shinsekai waiting in wait, still does not have a full completed item. He's got the cooldown reduction, you know, variety pack.
Got Ignite.
Got Ignite too, wants to jump in. PK, he's fine, he just, you know, shifts away and he'll be fine there. Shinsekai, I'm waiting to see what he's going to build first. I have no idea yet.
Yeah, because most of the time we've seen a lot of the Shyvana jungle, but this is the first time in a while, just as you mentioned, that we've seen a Shyvana topside, and that was a attempt at a reset.
Oh,
Blue
wow.
buff coming home.
Machi unable. It looks like Resurgence, they get to breathe a sigh of relief. They like, can I actually get a blue buff for Raven? Can he actually get one? Meanwhile, though, Machi not slowing down. Pop the Herald in mid lane and look to try and knock down that first tier tower and really open up the midsection of the map here for Machi.
Yeah, and so far everything, all the tower, oh dear, Raven has fallen.
All right, so Mission has now got level 2 in his kill button. Level 12. That Syndra does a decent amount of damage considering he's super farmed up. And that's even with the Berk Treads from Raven. So this is starting to look a little dire on the side of Resurgence. People have started to hit their power spikes. And this early aggression, these early plays that were supposed to come out from Epic, unfortunately they just didn't translate into anything.
Oh, it was Raven after getting the blue buff trying to walk towards topside to clear the wave, but it was Machi's welcoming party just lying in wait for Raven. And that's the thing though, RSG has really good skirmish. They've got also nice 2v2s in the form of Shinsekai and Epic, but we're at that point of the game where Machi will be almost always together. And again, we did mention now, when you pick enough during the window to take advantage of that paranoia, maybe a little bit small. And Machi just really sped things up.
I'm going to repeat, Shinsekai, I don't know what you're building just yet. I think it's Death Stance he's going for. He's now... I have questions about this Shyvana. I was like, I'm not going to harp on it too much, but now we're at 20 minutes, and he's gotten himself the Variety Bucket combo when it comes to item builds. It's all cooldown. I get what he's going for. But unfortunately, this Shyvana is still not really a champion at 20 minutes.
Yeah, and when we look at, you know, the jungle Shyvana, most of the time you get that really bad, really painful E pokes. Shinsekai though, gonna just try to catch Koala. As again, we did mention that's gonna be Dragon Soul for the side of Machi, and for Resurgence, whether or not they're able to get a good setup, you know, they got Mexi for at least a fallback. When it comes to the later stages of the game, when it comes to damage. But for Machi, they've got really good setup, you know? They've got lots of CC to work with for team fights.
Oh boy, Epic getting invaded upon. Gemini just says, this is my chicken, thank you very much. And we'll chomp on down. So poor Epic is being bullied once again out of his jungle. Shinsekai might need to start running. Does spot out Bruce and Koala on top of a control ward. PK was also getting aggressive. 30 seconds though, on to the 4th dragon. If Machi secure this, that's going to be Ocean Soul, and this makes the game very difficult for Resurgence.
Yeah, absolutely. Considering, again, with Bruce, they're going to try and poke everyone out from Resurgence. Your go button is definitely having to rely on Epic here on that paranoia to see whether or not Machi is going to be ready for that. And in the meantime, though, I think the way that they're going to approach this, if they have enough information whether or not they can take a fight, because vision-wise, it's been tough. Machi, though, probably looking for a setup in the mid lane.
Here we go. Death Stance is completed now for Shinsekai. He has an item. He can now join in on some of these fights and trying to get aggressive onto PK, but he's going to be just stopped in his tracks as now Machi start up the dragon. Does Resurgence find a way to steal this back away? Epic could look to try and pull the trigger with his ultimate to try and get in range for a Smite Steal. Go for the drive-by. We'll see whether or not that's going to be the case. 3,000 health back onto the dragon. Machi have themselves positioned. Resurgence got to do something here. You can tell they're waiting for it. In they go. No, it's not. Ocean Soul secured by Machi. Shinsekai goes to the back line. It's the Wombo combo, knock up combo. There you go. Once again, Machi cleaning house. And oh boy, Resurgence. They just get wiped from the map. GG even called there by Gemini. It's a quadra kill for PK.
There's so much anticipation too, because when you saw Raven put the ball on towards Epic, you can feel that they're ready to go. Unfortunately, even Mission, it was Mission that secured that dragon, and because of a team wipe, it is Machi's, Machi's clear way to get this Baron and try to finish the game. As you can see, Mission even pushing towards mid and trying to clear waves and pile in the minion waves over at that side.
And now, I don't know for Resurgence. I was like, all right, early game, they can make things happen. Now it's kind of screaming, all right, Mexi, you got to carry us at 45 minutes. I don't know whether or not Machi, though, are going to let this game go that long, especially with the fact now that they can set up for Elder Drake buff on the next Dragon's.
Yeah, we thought that the entrance would be Paranoia, get in, try to get a drive-by, just as you mentioned, but it was a flash smite try attempt. But yeah, it seems that, Machi at this point, full control. They've got Baron, they've got Dragon Soul, they've got everybody, most of them online already. Muramana online, Triforce, and making his way towards, Bruce making his way towards Death Stands as well. It's a Death Stands party. For Machi, and now they're making their way towards top side. And for Resurgence, you've got really decent wave clear in the form of Raven and Kusuo, I suppose, in the Karma. But at the same time, Machi can also press that go button and dive you under the tower.
There we go. Push in. Gonna come from Machi as they look to now close out at least some of the base. PK, Shinsekai still getting aggressive. I'll commend him. Not afraid to step down from a challenge. That is a 5-0-2 Wukong, by the way, though. So BK could easily turn back around and give him the quick smack with the stick. In goes Machi, though, on the top side of the map. Gonna go ahead and take down the inhibitor tower. It's gonna fall with that Baron buff in hand. Machi able to just start ripping apart Resurgence's base before the 25-minute mark.
Yeah, it's very textbook styles. Try to get as much value as you can towards this Baron from top, mid, move towards bot side as the wave is slowly building. Considering, again, none of the first tier towers have been destroyed by RSG, so Machi definitely has full control over the map.
Yeah, it's now what, an 11,000 gold lead?
Mm-hmm.
That's Bruce who's gonna have Death Stance, and then Ezreal becomes just absolutely insane once he hits this 3-item with the spike. Mission, he's still sitting on a Soul Stealer, by the way. Currently got 8 stacks, and he also has Stopwatch still. It's going to take a lot to try and kill this Syndra. And here it comes. Final push possibly down on the bot side of the map and looking to triple inhib Resurgence in their first game.
Yeah, there's a lot of safety, just as you mentioned. Stopwatch. Shinsekai, though, with a cheeky angle.
The sneaky Shyvana. Machi are probably like signaling, where the heck is this Shyvana? Because she's not in the base defending. They're just going to pull the trigger. Oh, they tried to go for the combo, but they were just out of range, and Mission is able to find the kill. Machi are just taking the base at this point, and poor Resurgence. They tried to make a play. It's a little bit too late. All is lost, it seems. A double knock up. The rest of the squad falls. Machi are playing with their food. And like that, Machi able to go 1-1 on the first day, and unfortunately Resurgence still have a lot to work to do when it comes to summer.
Oof, that was a rough game for Resurgence, but for Machi, they'll happily take that. It seems like it's just another day at work. They kept cool, they played to their win conditions. Even though the draft was a little bit, crazy on Resurgence side, it didn't phase them at all.
Yeah, I don't think there was much else to really say there. Unfortunately, Resurgence, I like the idea. I like the draft. I like trying something different. And there were points where it was starting to work a little bit. But obviously, there's still a lot of kinks to try and work out here if they want to at least try and contest for a playoff position. And especially, cut them some slack here. Of course, they were going up against Machi, the #1 team in the regular season when it came to last split. And you know what? I'm going to give it to Resurgence. They were able to at least hold their own for at least the first 15 to 20 minutes of the match.
Yeah, Epic, despite having a rough start in the jungle, when we look at the end of the game, he managed to still go neck and neck when it comes to the CS against the opposing jungler. So it's still a pretty good job in comparison to what we saw at the spring split. So there's definitely more improvements, and there's definitely more confidence too, especially when we looked at the draft and the way that they played in terms of aggression.
Yeah, you can also see the players on the player cams too, a little bit frustrated at times, but it's a rebuilding process, and honestly, like Jensen said, this isn't going to happen overnight. This is something that they need to work to in order to achieve success. And you know what? First half of the split, I expect it to be something like this until they find their footing and then try and make that push for playoffs.
Yeah, and just as you mentioned, it is against Machi. It's a first seed of the regular season, so it's definitely not going to be a walk in the park. And for Machi, though, they seem to be a little bit different when it comes to their playstyle. We were joking around whether or not we're going to get the Gemini Trundle that will be in the jungle for the next 15 minutes, but he has been practically very active within this game in particular.
Yeah, unfortunately, too. It gets to that point, and there's fights like this, so it's just once the Ocean Soul is obtained, it's okay, this is a free fight now for Machi, no matter what ends up happening. And PK, this is him, of course, getting his Quadra, and he's going to be our MVP for this game here up against Machi. Understandable. Was able to have himself a really good lane, had some support there also from Gemini Mission to get him to where he was.
Yeah, has been a very, very effective tool when it comes to the team fights, and therefore Resurgence had a difficult time despite so many one backline access, I suppose. They still couldn't exactly reach their target. So PK did an amazing job on the Wukong.
Yeah, so congratulations over there to Machi. They're able at least to remain very strong in their appearance, at least when it comes to playing against some of the lower ranked teams in the PCS after taking the loss over there to PSG. I think they'll be pretty happy with the fact, hey, it's a 1-for-1. And now, of course, too, we also have to ask, what does the players have to say about this? In particular, we're going to be talking over with Mission, with Patty over on the translation. So we're going to go throw it on over to them and see what they have to say.
大家好，我是东山。OK， 东山，那想请问一下，你们今天是获得了1胜1败的战绩。那可以看到，在对上 PSG 的时候，你们算是打得有点辛苦。那是在如何在这场比赛调整心态的呢？
So congratulations on winning, and you guys have 1 win and 1 loss today. And when you guys were facing off PSG earlier, it seems like you're not really used to their new play style, and lost by kind of a lot. So what kind of changes do you make in this game in terms of BP and emotionally also?
其实我们也没有做什么改变，但只是就是我们常常第一场的时候都会打得有点绑手绑脚，那可能稍微熟悉比赛之后，我们就会表现得比较好。
We actually didn't make that much changes, but it is we kind of every first match we play a little bit stressed out, and now that we were used to this game and we got better at playing and the momentum came back.
OK， 那紧接着想要问的是，在这一次的赛季加入了居米恩嘛？那你和居米恩有怎么样的一个轮调计划吗？
So you have a new mid laner this season, which is Jimian. Do you have made any plans in terms of swapping between the players in this season?
就我跟吉米恩的角色的风格比较不一样，然后我们就会看团练谁的状况好，然后看谁上场这样。
So me and Jimian have different play styles and different champion pools, we're going to look at our scrims and see who is in a better condition to decide who's going to play that day or the following game.
对，那这边想要再补最后一个问题，就是这场比赛对方选出了希瓦纳，你对希瓦纳这支角色有没有吓一跳？有什么看法呢？
So your opponent chose Shyvana, and are you surprised at that pick?
可能就是有点 counter 悟空吧。那因为 AP 上因为猴子都是很多误防的。
So I think it is a little bit counter to Wukong, our champion. So I was a little bit surprised.
OK， 那也非常谢谢东山接受今天的访问，也恭喜你们拿下胜利。那紧接的话呢，当然Machi在今天的一个比赛是打成了一个1胜1败的战绩。那刚刚东山有
And thank you on over there to Patty for the translation. So you kind of heard there, you know, they themselves gonna see how they feel after the scrims if they want to try and run Jimmy or Mission, which I think is really respectable for Mission to say, hey, you know what? I may not be the best player come this day, so I like that they're willing to have a little bit of swapping opportunities.
Yeah, I love the fact that Machi has a lot, because of the addition of Jimian, they have a lot of opportunities to mix it up when it comes to the champion pool in the next few games, I guess.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When it comes back, though, I know I'm excited to see how this matchup is going to take place. Of course, it's going to be HKA taking on Liab, so don't go anywhere. PCS will be right back.
CTBC Bank is Taiwan's top financial institution, but we're not stopping there. We're crafting an international brand and already have over 260 outlets in 14 countries. We are by your side, ready to embrace the future.